Hey guys, welcome back. I hope everyone's having a good week. I am struggling a little bit to getting back into the routine of what I was trying to do, where I read the Bible, chapters one night, and then the following night I make a video. Um, it's, I don't know if this happens to other people too or not, but when you don't read the Bible for, a certain amount of days or a week, um, it's hard to get back into doing it every day. Um, it's definitely like up and down. It's definitely a roller coaster. There'll be times where I do really, really well, and then there's times where I fall off, sometimes longer than other times. But I have noticed every time I fall off and I try to get back to it, reading the Bible consistently every day, oh man, it's hard. It's like, I don't know why I know why it's so hard because your flesh is fighting you, the enemy's fighting you, you know, um, it's tough, you feel like you're being pulled from it. And um, it's definitely something where discipline comes in. Discipline is where it helps you, on the days where you don't want to do it or you're struggling to do it, or just life is happening and you're stressed, there's a bunch of things going on and you're like, I don't have time to do my regular prayers, time, or I don't have time to read the Bible, I'll push it till tomorrow or next week or whatever. So it's just, you have to be disciplined and schedule it into your day and be disciplined about it. And there's people who do that with like working out, you know, pretty well. So I know it's possible, because I've seen, you know, people be disciplined with areas of their life like working out, um, work, uh, a certain eating, lifestyle or diet. Um, so I know it's possible, but it's definitely hard. But I'm really, really, really trying to work on being disciplined because um, that is the key to doing the things that you need to do, including praying and reading the Bible. When you don't want to, or you don't feel like it, or life is pulling you away. Um, and that's when you should be drawing closer to God. When you're going through a hard time or a storm in your life, like that's when you want to draw closer to God even more than hopefully you already are. Um, so, yeah, it's definitely tough. I had to drag myself out of bed right now and um, come in my closet to pray and do today's video. It's midnight right now, but um, I need to I need to be disciplined. I can't keep, oh, I'll be disciplined tomorrow. Doesn't work that way. Like, you know, but it is hard. And I'm have to assume that I'm not alone on that. I can't imagine that I'm the only one that struggles with that. I'm almost certain. Okay, guys. Well, let's get into today's chapters. We're on all about Jesus still right now, which is great. From what I understand, is the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, John, and Luke, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe those four Gospels are all about like kind of the same thing, but just from different like angles, perspectives. But it's all about like Jesus and mainly the same stories. Um, it's pretty interesting. I've really been enjoying it, but I wish that I haven't had so many big gaps, but that's okay. I'm trying. So real quick before we get into today's chapters, just in case there's any newcomers currently or in the future, maybe you find my videos, welcome. I have been reading the Bible for over a year now and getting to know God. I did not believe in God at all up until about a year and a half ago. And he came to me during a hard time in my life after actually my whole life's been hard so far. But yeah, he came to me and kind of started opening my eyes. Then I said, okay, well, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to read the Bible. And by the end of reading the Bible, I'll decide if I want to follow you or not. And I didn't even make it that far into the Bible, and I already was like, I believe. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. So it's not even a matter anymore of if I'm going to follow God or not. I'm following God. I'm seeking him. I'm trying to live a better life. I pray all the time asking God to keep working on me and transforming me and growing in me, and for his will for my life to happen. And I have made so much progress in the past year and a half than I have my whole life. And God has brought so much light into my life. He's brought me out of the darkness. He's healed me in ways that I never thought possible, in so many ways. And he continues to work on me and transform me and help me and guide me and show me his mercy and love and grace and bring me into the light. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me, and I'm beyond grateful that God came into my life. And so if you are on the fence about God, or not sure, or curious about him in the Bible, I say find out for yourself. Don't take my word for it or anyone else. Start praying and asking God. Start getting to know him. Start asking him to open your eyes, soften your heart. Start reading the Bible. Start truly seeking God with all your heart, and you will find him, and it'll be the best thing that'll ever happen to you. And I believe if you truly find Jesus, like, you're not going to want to turn back. I feel like if God truly starts to pull you out of the darkness into the light, you don't want to go back to the darkness. You don't want to. That's my opinion. I don't know if there's people out there that truly have come to know, God, Jesus, and then choose to turn their back on him. I can't fathom that. But I mean, who knows? But that's for them to deal with, not me. So I choose God. I choose to follow him, and I'm trying to wake up every day and pick up my cross and follow God. But God knows I'm not perfect. But that's where his grace and love comes in. He loves us, and we're his children, and he knows that we are going to stumble and struggle, and but he loves us enough to be patient and guide us and help us and forgive us. And so don't be so hard on yourselves. I know I've been hard on myself sometimes, but I'm trying not to be hard on myself, and I'm trying to just keep starting fresh every day when I wake up, and just keep moving forward and allowing God to work on me and work in me. Because when you see people like myself, for example, who have changed and grown so much, it's not me. I've been trying to grow and change my whole life, and I've had very minor successes, and usually which don't last long. Everything that's been happening over the past year and a half, all this healing that I've been trying to accomplish for years and years, God has done that. That was all God. The only thing that I can say on my part is the fact that I've asked for it, and I've opened myself up for it, because God can be willing to come and heal you and help you, but if you're refusing him, God can come and knock at your door every day, but if you refuse to open the door to him, God's going to respect that. God's going to respect your free will. And if you're saying, no, I don't want to invite you in, then he's going to respectfully step back and not come in. I swung that door open and said, God, you get in here and you clean up my house. And let me tell you, he is doing that for sure. More than I could have ever possibly have imagined. So give God a chance, start reading the Bible, start praying. Those are the two main things that you should start doing. And if you're like, well, how do I pray? What do I say? What do I do? How do I pray? Just go somewhere private where you're alone, in the car, the bathroom, your closet, your bedroom, wherever you can get some alone time, and just start praying. Just start asking God to, say, hey, I want to get to know you, God. Help me, guide me, whatever. And if you're like really just don't know what to say, honestly, just sit down and just be like, hey, God, like, I'd like to pray, but I don't know what to do or say. And just start talking, and whatever comes out, like just be honest and vulnerable and just start talking to him, so, and read the Bible. It's hard, but it's worth it, and that is a great way to get to know him and his character and everything. So, I've been just sharing my journey, and my experiences along the way and what it's really been like from going to not believing in God to now having him in my life, praying, getting to know him, reading the Bible, and what that's really actually been like on a day-to-day basis. So, and then I also share the chapters of the day. So the playlist is on my channel. I'm doing the full Bible. Day 1 and 2 are the only days that don't have the recording of the chapters. All the rest of them have them. And you can join me, or just check out some of my videos. You can start at the beginning. You can help me now, or like start with me now. Whatever works for you, or whatever God is leading you to do. And if you don't want to follow along with me, that's fine. I'm not forcing you. My videos are uploaded for whoever God guides them to. You can read on your own. There's free Bible apps. You can get a physical Bible, whatever works for you. Or there's other people on YouTube too that do Bible studies and read the Bible and go over the Bible. So, there's even a great YouTube channel called The Bible Project. I use that all the time to help me when I'm struggling a little bit in the Bible. And then there's people who help me in the comments. So just whatever works for you. So check out my playlist. I hope you join me, and let's get into today's chapters.
In those days, the multitude being very great, and having nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples to him and said to them, I have compassion on the multitude, because they have now continued with me 3 days, and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away hungry to their own houses, they will faint on the way, for some of them have come from afar. Then his disciples answered him, How can one satisfy these people with bread here in the wilderness? He asked them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7. So he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and gave thanks, broke them and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And they set them before the multitude. They also had a few small fish, and having blessed them, he said to set them also before them. So they ate and were filled, and they took up 7 large baskets of leftover fragments. Now those who had eaten were about 4,000, and he sent them away. Immediately got into the boat with his disciples, and came to the region of Dalmanutha. Then the Pharisees came out and began to dispute with him, seeking from him a sign from heaven, testing him. But he sighed deeply in his spirit, and said, Why does this generation seek a sign? Assuredly I say to you, no sign shall be given to this generation. And he left them, and getting into the boat again, departed to the other side. Now the disciples had forgotten to take bread, and they did not have more than one loaf with them in the boat. Then he charged them, saying, "Take heed. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herod." And they reasoned among themselves, saying, "It is because we have no bread." But Jesus, being aware of it, said to them, "Why do you reason because you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive nor understand? Is your heart still hardened? Having eyes, do you not see? And having ears, do you not hear? And do you not remember? When I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments did you take up?" They said to him, 12. "Also, when I broke the 7 for the 4,000, how many large baskets full of fragments did you take up?" And they said, 7. So he said to them, "How is it you do not understand?" Then he came to Bethsaida, and they brought a blind man to him, and begged him to touch him. So he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, and put his hands on him, he asked him if he saw anything. And he looked up and said, "I see men like trees walking." Then he put his hands on his eyes again, and made him look up. And he was restored, and saw everyone clearly. Then he sent him away to his house, saying, "Neither go into the town, nor tell anyone in the town." Now Jesus and his disciples went out to the towns of Caesarea Philippi. And on the road he asked his disciples, saying to them, "Who do men say that I am?" So they answered, "John the Baptist, but some say Elijah, and others, one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter answered and said to him, "You are the Christ." Then he strictly warned them that they should tell no one about him. And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected by the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. He spoke this word openly. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. But when he had turned around and looked at his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying, "Get behind me, Satan, for you are not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men." When he had called the people to himself, with his disciples also, he said to them, "Whoever desires to come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's will save it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him the Son of Man also will be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels." And he said to them, "Assuredly I say to you, that there are some standing here who will not taste death till they see the kingdom of God present with power." Now after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, and led them up on a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them. His clothes became shining, exceedingly white like snow, such as no launderer on earth can whiten them. And Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. Then Peter answered and said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it is good for us to be here. And let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." Because he did not know what to say, for they were greatly afraid. And a cloud came and overshadowed them, and a voice came out of the cloud, saying, "This is my beloved Son. Hear him." Suddenly, when they had looked around, they saw no one anymore, but only Jesus with themselves. Now as they came down from the mountain, he commanded them that they should tell no one the things they had seen, till the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept this word to themselves, questioning what the rising from the dead meant. And they asked him, saying, "Why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first?" Then he answered and told them, "Indeed, Elijah is coming first, and restores all things. And how is it written concerning the Son of Man, that he must suffer many things and be treated with contempt? But I say to you that Elijah has also come, and they did to him whatever they wished, as it is written of him. And when he came to the disciples, he saw a great multitude around them, and scribes disputing with them. Immediately, when they saw him, all the people were greatly amazed, and running to him, greeted him. And he asked the scribes, "What are you discussing with them?" Then one of the crowd answered and said, "Teacher, I brought you my son, who has a mute spirit, and wherever it seizes him, it throws him down. He foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. So I spoke to your disciples that they should cast it out, but they could not." He answered him and said, "O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him to me." Then they brought him to him. And when he saw him, immediately the spirit convulsed him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed, foaming at the mouth. So he asked his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" And he said, "From childhood. And often he has thrown him both into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." Jesus said to him, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes." Immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." When Jesus saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, "Deaf and dumb spirit, I command you, come out of him and enter him no more." Then the spirit cried out, convulsed him greatly, and came out of him. And he became as one dead, so that many said, "He is dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he had come into the house, his disciples asked him privately, "Why could we not cast it out?" So he said to them, "This kind can come out by nothing but prayer and fasting." Then they departed from there and passed through Galilee, and he did not want anyone to know it. For he taught his disciples and said to them, "The Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of men, and they will kill him. And after he is killed, he will rise the third day." But they did not understand this saying, and were afraid to ask him. Then he came to Capernaum, and when he was in the house, he asked them, "What was it you disputed among yourselves on the road?" But they kept silent, for on the road they had disputed among themselves who would be the greatest. And he sat down, called the 12, and said to them, "If anyone desires to be first, he shall be last of all and servant of all." Then he took a little child and set him in the midst of them. And when he had taken him in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever receives one of these little children in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but him who sent me." Now John answered him, saying, "Teacher, we saw someone who does not follow us casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him because he does not follow us." But Jesus said, "Do not forbid him, for no one who works a miracle in my name can soon afterwards speak evil of me. For he who is not against us is on our side. For whoever gives you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you belong to Christ, assuredly I say to you, he will by no means lose his reward. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life maimed, rather than having two hands to go to hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched, where their worm does not die, and the fire is not quenched. And if your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life lame, rather than having 2 feet, to be cast into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched, where their worm does not die, and the fire is not quenched. And if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter the kingdom of God with one eye, rather than having two eyes, to be cast into hell fire, where their worm does not die, and the fire is not quenched. For everyone will be seasoned with fire, and every sacrifice will be seasoned with salt. Salt is good, but if the salt loses its flavor, how will you season it? Have salt in yourselves, and have peace with one another. Then he arose from there and came to the region of Judea, by the other side of the Jordan. And multitudes gathered to him again, and as he was accustomed, he taught them again. The Pharisees came and asked him, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife?" testing him. And he answered and said to them, "What did Moses command you?" They said, "Moses permitted a man to write a certificate of divorce and to dismiss her." And Jesus answered and said to them, "Because of the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept. But from the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore what God has joined together, let not man separate." In the house, his disciples also asked him again about the same matter. So he said to them, "Whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her. And if a woman divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery."
So the only thing that I can think of right now that I was like confused on was at the end of chapter 9 with the salt and the seasoning verses, like at the end. I think it was like the last 2-3 verses. I did not understand that like at all. I don't know what was trying to be conveyed there. But I think everything else I'm pretty sure I understood everything else. I can't think of anything else that I was confused on. Sorry guys, I'm tired. I'm trying to adjust my schedule and get up earlier, but I'm still going to bed late, and so it's like I'm having a rough time. It's difficult to change your schedule, but I gotta start taking, the things that I need to do for my health, my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health, like all of that. I need to like take all of that more serious, and so, changes must be made. And that includes going to bed around the same time every night and getting up, at a decent hour in the morning, and not just like, sleeping in until whenever, and then, just being on my phone and then getting up and getting ready. Like I need to like start my day strong. Get up right away, pray, exercise, I need to I feel like the way you start your day can make a big difference. Because I did do that. There was like a week recently where I think 2 or 3 days I started my day with prayer and exercise, and it made a huge difference. My day was much more productive and better and positive, and it just made a big difference. So I'd like to get to a point where that's my regular routine, and it's just normal. But the road to that is difficult. Anyways, well, I will see you guys in 2 days for some more chapters. Good night.